Devil May Cry villains aren't just monsters. They're megalomaniacs, fallen angels, and dysfunctional family members with way too much flair. Time to explain every major bad guy who put the devil in Devil May Cry. Vergil. Vergil is Dante's cold, stoic twin and a recurring antagonist in Devil May Cry. Obsessed with power to avoid weakness, he embraces his demonic heritage while upholding a strict code of honor, favoring swords over firearms. His human side, V, reflects suppressed regret and longing, revealing the cost of his ambition. Vergil wields Yamato and other devil arms with unparalleled precision, combining that superhuman speed and strength and, of course, devil trigger abilities. After merging with his demonic half, Urizen, he achieves near omnipotence. A tragic, formidable figure, Vergil's relentless pursuit of power defines his rivalry with Dante and shapes his complex legacy. Nelo Angelo. Nelo Angelo is Vergil's corrupted form in Devil May Cry, created when Mundus enslaved him and bound his soul inside Black Knight armor. Stripped of humanity but retaining Vergil's pride, Nelo Angelo is an honorable yet merciless rival who mirrors Dante's skills with terrifying strength, teleportation, and energy-infused swordplay. Across 3 duels, he pushes Dante to the limit before finally falling, leaving behind his amulet and the truth of his identity. Though destroyed, his shattered armor inspired the Order's Angelos in DMC4, and his legacy haunted Vergil until DMC5, where his nightmares as Nelo Angelo gave birth to V and Urizen. Mundus. Mundus, the Prince of Darkness, is the ultimate antagonist of the Devil May Cry series. Tyrannical ruler of the demon world, he was defeated centuries ago by Sparta, but returns repeatedly to conquer Earth and torment Dante, Vergil, and Trish. Sadistic, manipulative, and nearly omnipotent, Mundus shows no loyalty to his minions, punishing failure mercilessly. He can manipulate demonic energy, summon creatures, alter minds, and create pocket dimensions. And also, he wields godlike strength, flight, and near immortality. From orchestrating Mallet Island's invasion to brainwashing Vergil, Mundus epitomizes evil, blending mythological, biblical, and literary inspirations into a cunning, all-powerful archdemon. Phantom. Phantom is a colossal demon and major antagonist in Devil May Cry, also appearing in DMC2 and the prequel manga Visions of V. Once one of Mundus's top generals, Phantom wields stone and lava-infused powers, attacking with overwhelming strength and molten attacks. In the first game, he relentlessly pursues Dante through Mallet Island, ultimately perishing after realizing he faces the son of Sparta. He briefly returns in DMC2 as a portal-born boss and appears as a familiar in Visions of V. Phantom's iconic design, inspired by the Phantom of the Opera, cements him as one of the series' most recurring and memorable demonic foes. Nefasturris. Nefasturris is a skyscraper-sized demon formed from swarming Nefas vermis that fuse into a huge body. Emerging from a building like a twisted titan, it battles Dante until destroyed, only for its severed head, Nevas Capitas, to continue the fight, proving this nightmare is never going down easily. Jokatgulm. Jokatgulm is a massive aquatic demoness with tentacles, poison gas, and a jellyfish-like body. Fought by both Dante and Lucia in Devil May Cry 2, she shields herself with magic and regrows tentacles, but ultimately falls, only to return later as part of Argosax the Chaos. Griffin. Griffin is a giant, lightning-wielding avian demon and a major antagonist in Devil May Cry and Devil May Cry 2. Serving as one of Mundus's top generals, he repeatedly confronts Dante across Mallet Island, the Ship of Souls, and the Colosseum, only to be ultimately killed by Mundus. Griffin draws inspiration from mythological griffins and the Thunderbird, combining a lion's body with an eagle's head and thunderous attacks. In Devil May Cry 5, a smaller version appears as V's familiar, representing part of Vergil's trauma. Fast, deadly, and airborne, Griffin's size, speed, and electric powers make him a memorable and iconic demon foe. Nightmare. Nightmare is a devastating bioweapon created by Mundus from inorganic substances. First confronting Dante in Mallet Island's Castle Cathedral, it can absorb Devil Trigger energy, assume an invulnerable blob form, and swallow enemies into a dimension of manifested evil. Destroying its cores forces it into a solid, armored, and more aggressive form. In Devil May Cry 5, Visions of V, Nightmare appears as one of V's familiars, retaining its powers but in a controlled, semi-humanoid golem form. Designed as a nearly unstoppable weapon, Nightmare blends overwhelming physical might with psychological terror, embodying trauma and relentless demonic aggression. Arius. Arius is proof that sometimes the real demons wear suits. A ruthless tycoon and secret sorcerer, he ran Ouroboros, an empire of wealth and influence, while scheming to unlock Argosax the Chaos. Calm, refined, and manipulative, Arius carried himself like a corporate god in waiting, but beneath the polished veneer was obsession and paranoia. He created Lucia, treated humans like live chess pieces, and tried to cheat his way into divinity. The twist? His arrogance backfired spectacularly when Dante literally swapped a magical artifact with a coin flip. Arius got his godhood, but only in the form of grotesque, clumsy monster mutations. Bolverk. A skeletal knight with wolves at his heels, Bolverk embodies the undying rage of demons who couldn't stomach Sparta's rebellion. Once beaten by the Dark Knight, he returns in Devil May Cry 2 to settle the score by hunting down Sparta's heir. Armed with a massive spear and flanked by his loyal beasts, Freki and Gary, Bolverk fights like a commander who refuses to accept his own death. His Norse-inspired design, complete with one scarred eye and spectral wolf companions, make him one of DMC2's most memorable foes, even if his grudge does outlive his actual impact. Trismagia. Trismagia is a powerful, three-faced demon and minor boss in Devil May Cry 2, serving as the oracle of the Netherworld. Each of its faces wields a different element, white for ice, red for fire, and blue for lightning. It can split into separate heads to attack individually, or combine them for devastating elemental strikes. Both Dante and Lucia face Trismagia in a demonic pocket dimension atop Ouroboros City's skyscraper. Though it's unclear who encounters it first, its name references Hermes Trismegistus, symbolizing magic and wisdom, while its three heads nod to the elements and the biblical three wise men, emphasizing its mystical and ancient nature. Argosax the Chaos. Argosax the Chaos is less a villain and more a full-on apocalyptic event stuffed into a demon body. Once a rival to Mundus himself, Argosax nearly split the demon world in two before Sparta and company put him back in his box. Centuries later, Arius tried to revive him, which was a big mistake. Argosax returned as a hideous boss-rush blob before revealing his true form, the Despair Embodied, an androgynous, fire-winged nightmare wielding swords, whips, and existential dread. Dante still took him down, of course, proving that even demon gods aren't immune to stylish smackdowns. Argosax wanted chaos, but he got checkmated. Arkham. Arkham is the Devil May Cry series at its most Shakespearean. Betrayal, obsession, and family tragedy all rolled into one slime ball. Once human, he sacrificed his wife to gain demonic power, alienating his daughter, Lady, and setting her on a lifelong mission of vengeance. Manipulative to the core, Arkham plays Vergil like a sycophant, taunts Lady with cruelty, and toys with Dante under the guise of the cackling jester. His ultimate goal? Seize Sparta's godlike power. But ambition outpaced ability, and Arkham's ascension left him a grotesque blob, mocked by the very power he craved. In the end, Lady's bullet sealed his fall from false godhood. Cerberus. The three-headed Ice Guardian of Devil May Cry 3 is more than just a boss fight. He's a test of Dante's worth. Encased in frosty armor, Cerberus unleashes blizzards of icicles and bone-cracking lunges, demanding respect from anybody trying to pass the Temene-Negru's gates. What makes him stand out is his honor. After losing, he doesn't curse or cling to revenge, but instead offers Dante his power as the Devil Arm Nunchaku. Later, Devil May Cry 5 expands his legacy by revealing King Cerberus, proving that this frozen hound was just one of a whole pack of underworld titans. Agni and Rudra. The gracious hosts of Devil May Cry 3's Firestorm Chamber, Agni and Rudra, are fiery siblings in more ways than one. One wields flame, the other wind, but both prefer to scream their attacks like they're auditioning for a metal band. Their teamwork makes them dangerous, but their chatter makes them unbearable. So much so that Dante only agrees to wield them as devil arms if they shut up. Naturally, they don't. As guardians of the Temene-Negru, they're memorable less for their menace and more for being the loudest swords in gaming history. The Leviathan. The Leviathan, or evil god beast, is a colossal sea monster and supporting antagonist in Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening. Created by the original Devil King and sealed by Sparta, it is later unleashed by Vergil and Arkham. Its massive body serves as a gateway to the Hell of Envy, powered by the Ignis Fatuus and populated with gigapedes and hell envies. Dante, of course, battles his way through its digestive tract to destroy its heart, escaping through its eye. Inspired by biblical lore, the Leviathan embodies envy and references the Hellmouth, combining monstrous scale, deadly defenses, and symbolic weight as a terrifying and memorable foe. Nevan. Nevan the Lightning Witch is a vampiric succubus and major antagonist in Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening. Serving as a gatekeeper of the Temen Nigru, she attacks Dante using lightning, bats, dark waves, and a life-draining kiss. After being defeated, her soul becomes the devil arm Nevan, the demonic electric guitar with a hidden scythe. Nevan flirts with Dante, hinting that she admired Sparta. Her design and lore draw from Irish mythology. Her name references Nemain, a war goddess, and her vampiric seductive traits echo the Lianan she. Early concepts even linked her to Darkstalker's Morrigan, blending charm, danger, and electrifying combat. Beowulf. Beowulf is pure fury given form, a massive light beast who never forgave Sparta for betraying demonkind. When Dante stumbles into his lair, Beowulf explodes with rage at Sparta's blood, launching brutal combos that mirror the devil arm he later becomes. Blinded and humiliated by Dante, Beowulf tries again against Vergil, only to be effortlessly slain and transformed into one of the series' most iconic devil arms. His mix of mythic naming, relentless grudge, and dazzling light-based attacks make him one of DMC3's most memorable bosses, a towering monument to Sparta's enemies who always fall to his sons. Geryon. Geryon, also called Geryon the Time Steed, is a spectral, fiery horse demon who serves as a supporting antagonist in DMC3 Dante's Awakening. This rare demonic steed possesses limited control over time, allowing it to slow Dante's movements temporarily and teleport through portals. Geryon attacks with a ghostly chariot, shooting arrows and attempting to ram Dante, turning the bridge encounter above the underground arena into a chaotic game of chicken. Upon defeat, Geryon's soul transforms into Dante's Quicksilver style, granting him the ability to manipulate time briefly. Inspired by the Irish death coach legend Costa Vor and tied to the mythological Geryon from Greek lore, the Time Steed is both a menacing combatant and a thematic nod to some demonic legend. Doppelganger. Doppelganger is Dante's living shadow, a boss in DMC3 that embodies darkness itself. Emerging from his silhouette in the Temen Nigru, it mirrors Dante's movements and wields a shadowy version of rebellion. Doppelganger thrives in darkness, summoning orbs and shockwaves to extinguish light while boosting its power. However, exposure to illumination weakens it, turning the environment into the true weapon against it. Personality is nearly absent, cold and silent, yet upon defeat it accepts Dante's victory and grants him the Doppelganger style. A literal reflection of Dante's darker self, it symbolizes inner conflict as much as demonic menace. Supreme General Credo. In Devil May Cry 4, Supreme General Credo begins as the shining paragon of the Order of the Sword, a disciplined warrior, protective brother, and Nero's mentor. But his loyalty to the Church is shattered when he discovers Sanctus has twisted their faith into a scheme of corruption and manipulation, even using Kyrie as a pawn. After undergoing the Ascension ceremony, Credo transforms into a winged knight, embodying both angelic grace and demonic power. Yet beneath the armor, he remains a man defined by love and justice. His defiance cost him his life, but his sacrifice inspires Nero to grow into a true devil hunter. Agnus. Agnus, the stuttering alchemist of Devil May Cry 4, proves that brains without a backbone just may make you a chew toy for demons. As the Order of the Sword's chief researcher, he cooked up artificial demons, twisted rituals, and those pesky Bianco Angelos. His ultimate achievement was turning himself into the bug-eyed Angelo Agnus, a demon form that still couldn't measure up to Dante's style points. Beyond the lab coat, he's also Nico's deadbeat dad, which explains her sarcastic streak. In the end, Agnus is a reminder that no matter how brilliant you might be, cowardice makes for a lousy survival strategy. Berial. Berial, the conqueror of the Fire Hell, struts into DMC4 as a lion centaur inferno armed with a massive sword and an even more massive ego. Unlike many demons, he isn't just a monster, he's also a proud warrior with a sense of honor, quick to call out Sanctus god-complex nonsense. Against Nero, Berial underestimates and then respects him. Against Dante, he vows vengeance for his fallen brethren, only to fall in flames, refusing to flee even when offered mercy. Berial embodies the classic die-fighting demon archetype. His kamikaze finale makes him one of the game's most imposing and memorable bosses. Bael and Dagon. Bael and Dagon prove that in Devil May Cry, even frogs can come with flair. These colossal, toad-like ice demons haunt Fortuna Castle, shrouding it in blizzards and luring prey with their eerie rusalka, glowing women-shaped lures that flirt just long enough to freeze you solid. Nero takes down Bael while Dante tangles with Dagon, brushing off the demon's invisibility with the ultimate insult, "You stink." Both fights highlight the franchise's mix of spectacle and absurdity. Massive beasts undone by their slimy tongues and flashy bravados. They're not masterminds, they're more primal predators, mid-tier monsters with mythic names and memorable boss fight energy. Echidna. Echidna is one of Devil May Cry 4's most striking villains, a towering plant serpent demoness who ruled over the Midas Forest with maternal malice. Half dragon, half woman, she spawns chimera seeds that infest the land, determined to birth a thriving demon ecosystem at humanity's expense. Protective of her children, yet utterly merciless toward intruders, she embodies nature's darker, more predatory side. Both Nero and Dante battle her, with Nero ripping the Sephirothic fruit from her and Dante stylishly humiliating her before finishing the job. Echidna's blend of grotesque beauty and mythic inspiration makes her one of the series' more imaginative monstrosities. Sanctus. Sanctus, the main antagonist of DMC4, is the fanatical leader of the Order of the Sword and Vicar of Sparta. Obsessed with power, he seeks to dominate the human world using demonic forces and the holy weapon Yamato. Ruthless and manipulative, he exploits his followers, kidnaps Nero's love interest, and revives himself through the Ascension ceremony. Sanctus fuses with the massive demonic construct, the Savior, becoming Sanctus Diabolica, wielding the Sword of Sparta with devastating magic, teleportation, and flight. Despite his formidable power, though, his lack of humanity prevents him from fully harnessing Sparta's blade, leading to his defeat by Nero. The Savior. The Savior is the colossal demonic statue and one of the central antagonists of Devil May Cry 4, crafted by Sanctus and the Order of the Sword in Sparta's image, designed to purge demons and conquer the human world. It requires someone with Sparta's blood and the legendary Dark Knight's sword to function. The Savior wields immense strength, levitation, energy blasts, and near-invincible armor, annihilating demons in godlike fashion. Inside, it houses a vast demonic dimension where Sanctus can strike at will. After Nero frees himself and defeats Sanctus, the statue fuses with his remains to become the weakened false savior, which Nero ultimately destroys, ending the threat. Urizen. Urizen, the nefarious usurper, is the main antagonist of Devil May Cry 5 and the demonic half of Vergil. Power-hungry and ruthless, he overthrows Mundus to become Demon King, using the Qliphoth tree to gain godlike strength. Stoic and indifferent, Urizen views humans as weak and is incapable of understanding compassion. His split from Vergil's humanity allows him to fully embrace his ambition, making him a devastating force with supernatural strength, telekinesis, elemental attacks, time manipulation, and near invulnerability. Consuming the Qliphoth fruit elevates his power even further. Yet he is ultimately defeated by Dante and reunited with V to restore Vergil, ending his reign of terror. Goliath. Goliath is a hulking demon in Devil May Cry 5 whose stomach sports a grotesque, fanged maw, capable of devouring debris and spewing napalm blasts. Arrogant, foul-mouthed, and dim-witted, he dreams of ruling the underworld by harnessing the Qliphoth. Nero mocks him throughout their battle, exposing his reliance on brute strength over strategy. Though Goliath initially survives, V and his familiars ultimately finish him off. Nico later repurposes one of his horns into the punchline Devil Breaker, turning his grotesque biology into stylish weaponry. Goliath may be dumb muscle, but he's a memorable, combustible roadblock in Nero's path. Bob Barbas. If Mundus rules Limbo City through finance and fear, Bob Barbas keeps the public docile with propaganda. The smug face of Raptor News, Bob presents himself as a God-fearing patriot, but his real deity is of course Mundus, and his sermons are lies broadcast as truth. His demonic form manifests as a giant talking head, because subtlety is for humans, twisting reality into smear campaigns that paint Dante as a terrorist. Even mid-battle, Bob treats combat like a live segment, spewing venom and bias until Dante finally fires him for good. A perfect parody of media manipulation, Barbas is satire turned boss fight. The Hunter. The Hunter is a vicious, primate-like demon and one of the early antagonists in DMC Devil May Cry. Voiced by Richard Ridings, he ambushes Dante near his trailer, dragging him into limbo and causing havoc along the pier. Agile and brutal, the Hunter wields a grappling hook tail to attack and manipulate the environment. His design is inspired by the Japanese mythical Nue, a chimera known for bringing misfortune. Scarred and beastly, he echoes other demonic forces in appearance, emphasizing raw power, primal danger, and obviously being defeated by Dante. His initial attack showcases his cunning and strength, which makes him memorable early on in the game. Lilith. Lilith is a seductive demon and major antagonist in DMC Devil May Cry. Serving as Mundus' mistress and nightclub owner, she manipulates Limbo, creating alternate spaces and communicating through reflections, while gestating Mundus' heir, which fights for her in battle. Appearing as a glamorous woman with a wig and sewn skin, her true power lies in her unborn child, which emerges to attack Dante. Though physically agile, Lilith is vulnerable without her baby. Gross. Ultimately, she is defeated and killed by Vergil. Her role combines manipulation, dark seduction, and a twisted maternal aspect, making her a uniquely disturbing and memorable foe in the game. Cavaliere Angelo. Cavaliere Angelo is a towering winged Angelo demon powered by Trish's body in Devil May Cry 5. It wields a massive, shape-shifting sword, crackling with purple lightning, and can transform its wings into shields or fly for evasive maneuvers. Intelligent and ruthless, it relentlessly targets Dante and the Devil Sword Sparta, using teleportation, electrical projectiles, and devastating melee attacks. Though arrogant and brutal, traces of Trish's consciousness surface, revealing its unnatural origin. After its defeat, Dante slices its body into pieces, fusing them with a motorcycle to create the Cavaliere weapon, preserving its raw power and deadly versatility for his arsenal. Qliphoth. The Qliphoth is a colossal demonic tree from the underworld, capable of producing a single fruit every few thousand years that grants divine power to any demon who consumes it. A fruit last claimed by Mundus to become king of the underworld. Unlike mortal trees, its branches grow deep underground, while its thorny roots stretch skyward, thriving on human blood and converting victims into husks. Its roots, guarded by parasitic Nidhogg and blood-gathering Empusa demons, serve as both nourishment and lethal obstacles for hunters like Nero and V. Fully manifested, the Qliphoth can merge the human and demon worlds, and its fruit motivates Urizen's conquest, ultimately becoming the site of climactic battles with Dante and Vergil, as they seek to sever its roots and reseal the portal between realms. In the end, every Devil May Cry villain had the same problem. They underestimated just how cool Dante can look while wrecking their plans. Alright, now it's your turn. Who is the most unforgettable Devil May Cry villain for you? Let us know in the comments, and remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell, because we've got plenty more gaming explainers coming your way.